Last year, Hurricane Beryl tore through the southeastern Caribbean, leaving shattered coastlines and shaken communities in its wake. It was early in the season, too early, and the damage was deep. In the aftermath, Barbados answered the call, alongside their brothers and sisters in the regional security system. They sailed not just toward destruction, but toward duty. This is not just a look back, it's a look ahead.
Once the request comes in to the force headquarters, then the information is filtered down to the Coast Guard, and the Coast Guard headquarters then start to prepare as it relates to administration, logistics, etc. Then the information will come to the ship captain or the platform that's actually doing the deployment. And once that information is received, then the ship captain or the commanding officer will start his administration as it relates to logistics, getting personnel, looking for the stores, so you know exactly what the deployment entails, and move on from there.
Okay, so the first deployment would have been to put the troops on the ground, so as to begin the process of assistance for the personnel that would have been affected in the various islands by the hurricane devastation. This last deployment would have been the redeployment of the troops to their various home nations so that they could repatriate back into their countries after the host nation would have indicated that they no longer need the assistance for rehabilitation or the security forces to assist with their present security problem.
Well, yes, I am. As it stands on the OPVs, I'm one of the few female junior officers on the fleet. It is going very well. Honestly, the guys really take care of me, so I don't have any issues in terms of the power struggle that most females might think they might counter in an environment like this. So far, it's smooth sailing. They're very cooperative, and they give me the utmost respect and support that I need when I need it.
I would have been on training for 10 months in China, Dalian Naval Academy, where we conducted mostly navigational work, and it prepared me to an extent for the deployment that we are on currently. Probably within a month of returning back from course, I would have received the information on coming on this deployment. I would say mainly the practical work of the training, a lot of simulation work, and that would have basically put you in the environment, not the actual environment, but a simulated environment which prepared me for this deployment.
It's really a sight to see such a beautiful place devastated, and it was a bit heartbreaking, but then it reminded me, like, for little things we shouldn't have taken for granted. Even simple gestures like offering ice off of the boat, they took all of our ice. The place was really hot, and we just was like, just have it, we'll figure it out. Even our cook, we were so giving. We even gave stuff from our ship to them, and you just see them lining up. We invited them to come onto the ship because they had AC, because there was no light, no wind, no nothing. Honestly, it was really a saddening experience, and I was just glad that I was able to help them out as much as we can and do our part. But going there today to see lush green coming back, buildings, people hearing music, meaning that they have electricity underground, I'm just glad to hear and see that, because it makes me feel like, they're resilient, they're strong, and they're getting back on their feet with all the help that they're receiving.
The vessels are not really designed to, to transport stores and the amount of persons. It is more or less a patrol craft. I can say really truly that it is really a need to have a platform that can do that type of HADR work in terms of taking stores and taking personnel. But at present, we don't have that capacity, but what we do is try to facilitate and try to be flexible so that we can still assist the RSS and the region in terms of deployment and HADR.
First of all, let me tell you, I'm really father for the journey that we had from Barbados on the 7th of August to Grenada and I stay in Carriacou. When we get into Carriacou, we arrive in Carriacou in the evening time, about 4:30. We get connected and carried to our accommodation where we were staying. As soon as we get to Carriacou, we was fell straight into duties and security tasks and for Carriacou. When you get into Carriacou, you see a lot of devastated people, a lot of frustrated people, people that complaining for the heat, people that complaining for the water. So my job was to make those people happy and to help the people in every way that I can. When I with the troops that was deployed with me to Carriacou. When we leave Carriacou, I can say that the Barbados Defense Force soldiers that was in Carriacou did an excellent job. After they stay, when we leave Barbados, we fly our flight how is possible. Our motto in the Barbados Defense Force is excellence. When we travel to the Caribbean, people in the region expect a high standard from our Bajan soldiers when we come to these kind of disasters. I really be up and ready for the task. I can guarantee you, we leave Carriacou, the country is back to a state of normalcy, not that extent, not for that extent, but they have to take a little more time in getting back the people's property in order. And so for the police over there, before I leave, I had a conversation with them and then guarantee with me that them in a position that they can get everything run at this point in time.
I think a lot of sensitization needs to be done locally here because I still think the community is not aware. Yes, we're hearing the term climate change, but there needs to be more awareness, first and foremost, so persons can understand what they need and need not to do to help in the process. I think that's where we start from, education and awareness. It's important that we do that. It's important that they provide support for these small islands. We're limited, we have limited resources, and as I said, it's important that the international community, we have been benefiting to some extent, but it's important that they come on board and assist these communities going forward and help us to understand what are the causes of it and how we can mitigate it. And thanks to all those who have supported this so much I can't mention now.
If we even begin to think that these countries have returned back to normal working hours, no, they have not. Up to yesterday, which is the 8th of September, we would have came on island to Union Island and we would have seen persons still distributing humanitarian supplies for the various personnel that are stuck in country. We would have seen that many of the houses and many of the structures have not yet begun to even be rehabilitated in terms of putting back roofs, in terms of replacing structures, replacing windows, in terms of persons even going back to a normal working life as they having a 8 to 5 and expecting a paycheck at the end of the week.
Seeing the devastation that I would have left when I first got to Carriacou, seeing the buildings without roofs and seeing the tarpaulins, because really and truly you could only recognize the houses from the tarpaulins because you could hardly tell that they were houses. You just saw the blue, so you assumed it was a house. And there was so much brown, it was just, the trees were just devastated. And as soon as we landed in Carriacou, they were just, in Union, there were just people coming to the boat asking for ice, asking for water. If you don't have water, they want ice, saying they have to take medication, they need ice to carry home, they need water to carry home. It's a very humbling experience, I must say.
as relates to youngsters or young people, I know that it's difficult to persuade or to encourage persons as relates to the military, because persons see this as, they grow up not having that robust or that aggressive way of you being told basically everything or what to do and following instructions. So it's going to be a challenge with this generation, but I think that once you put or make them aware, put things out there that they can understand, advertise, speak, one-to-one level and explain certain things, I think that we can get a lot of youngsters or young people to join the military. And we are actually recruiting at this present moment. But again, after this recruiting, I think that, we will need to do so again, because we may start with X amount of numbers and, the numbers may or will decrease. So we got to keep making the Barbados Defense, putting it out there on the map so that persons can see what we do on a day-to-day basis, that people can actually get that interest and join the Barbados Defense Force.
We would have come to Carriacou, we would have come to Union Island, we will come to Saint Lucia this time. We'll be dropping people up and down to make sure that they're on the ground, to make sure that a sense of normalcy is maintained in the Caribbean, even though there's so much devastation. So I would recommend that you do join the Barbados Defense Force or any other service organization to give back to your country, because your country has done so much for you and it continues to do so.
A year has passed. The memory of Beryl is now a warning. Preparation isn't a plan for the future. It's a lesson from the past.